for me, entrepreneurship has always been the way.
Investing is important because it's the only way you are going to be able to get rich and wealthy for your family. We can close the wealth gap by working together.
Market Monday is the biggest investment show ever.
My life has literally changed since watching EYL.
When you can make people money and you can add value, they're going to be forever indebted to you.
And I promise you this year, I'm going to make y'all even more money.
Disclaimer, do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Let's build our knowledge, our community, and our brokerage accounts. Love is love.
Love is love indeed.
Love is love.
Welcome back. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How y'all feeling? How y'all doing?
We good, man. Happy Easter Monday to all my West Indians out there. Hopefully
For sure.
you had some bun and cheese, and it was delightful and nourishing.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling, my man?
I'm good, man. Working through this cold still, but I'm good. Happy to be here. Troy Rashad, how y'all feeling? I know y'all been working today. Y'all quiet. Listen, if you end up at the BET Awards in a cipher with Pinky, I got 16 ready. Okay, call me.
Shout out to Pinky. Shotty, how you feeling, my man?
It's all good, man. Happy to be here. Got a lot to talk about. Shout out to everybody checking. Do remember this week, EYL, we back. First and foremost, blackout, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. We got a special guest, Kendra G. That's gonna be a good. She's just on Cameron show. We got an announcement that we're gonna make with her too. We doing all types of partnerships, man. All types of partnerships. So we got an announcement we're gonna make with Kendra G. Shout out to Kendra.
Shout out to Kendra.
And then Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we got the good brother Sean Poe.
Hey.
That's my guy.
Sean got a lot to talk about.
My brother Sean, man, he got a lot to talk about. His life story is like a movie. So that's Thursday at 12 o'clock. And shout out to Pinky Cole. We announced that today, that we have partnered with her on a new series called Miss Piggy Bank, Miss Pinky's Piggy Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And what that's gonna do is like short form content that's going to teach about different financial literacy things in a jingle rap form. She did it with her
bankruptcy
clip that we put on the page. I'm sure you probably seen it, went super viral. So that was so viral that she wanted to just, expand it and do other things. So we're going to do other things with that. And man, it don't stop. It don't stop. So if you're mad, then you're going to have to stay mad because
yo, this guy's crazy, yo. Shout out to
Triangle.
Shout out to the 9. Shout out to 914. Shout out to 914.
Shout out to Greenberg.
Yeah,
shout out to
man.
the student council, the representatives.
County,
yes.
It's Financial Literacy Month, and the county, fittingly enough, named April 4th officially Rashad Bilal and Troy Millen's Day. So shout out to the county. Shout out to 914 where everything started. Appreciate the love.
Yes.
That was dope. And EYL Day, it passed, but it's March 21st of every year going forward. So shout out to the town of Greenberg. Shout out to White Plains. Shout out to the 914. Yes. We got to play our rules down, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yonkers, Mount Vernon, New Rochelle, Peekskill, White Plains, the whole 914.
Yes.
Greatly appreciate the love. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's get into it.
Hold on.
Before we start,
I'll be in trouble if I don't say this.
Well, I do want to say something too. I hope you guys have taken your future serious because we know that funding is not coming. Interview Rich Lou Dennis, 0.3% of 1% actually goes to Black founders. So, we've done something over the last couple years, and we're doing it again this year as far as the pitch competition. $125,000 last year. 2 people actually won. It was $250,000 that was given.
Right.
This Friday is the deadline for InvestFest.
Yep.
So this Friday, April 10th, this Friday is the deadline to submit to be entered into the pitch competition.
That can change your life forever.
That's a fact. Only
100%.
thing you need to do is have a ticket, an InvestFest ticket, general admission ticket, whatever, any type of ticket. You can even be a vendor. And fill out the form online. It's on the InvestFest website.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that, you didn't know about it, you didn't hear about it, you wanted to, like, InvestFest is in August, yes, but it takes a long time to look through these applications. This is done very, specifically. So April 10th is the deadline. This Friday is the deadline for all pitch competition entries. So please don't wait. Please don't wait. Please don't miss your opportunity.
That's a fact. Please, that is life changing. And we actually ran into the winner of the pitch competition, or one of the winners, actually at our DC event. He was talking about how the funding has helped him and where he's going now with the investment, and how he's trying to scale even more. So it is life changing money. I'm just going to say this: happy anniversary. This week marks 14 years of marriage. Happy anniversary.
That's beautiful, yo.
You know what I'm saying? 14 years.
That's amazing, yo.
And I always do this every year, but I got to thank everybody that was at the wedding. And so Shadi was obviously in the wedding, but everybody that attended, showed us love then, and continues to pray over us and show us love now. Thank you so much. 14 years. God bless. Many more to come.
Shout out to you and Danny and the kids,
I
yo. That's
appreciate it.
amazing.
I'm just out here, man.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And I will say this too. There's a hotel actually where InvestFest is. It's called the Signia. That hotel is sold out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's other host hotels that's not exactly right there, but there is a discount, So if you go to our website, the hotel is sold out, but there's other hotels.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, and this is probably going to be the biggest InvestFest that we've had so far. I think there's a lot of uncertainty, and then especially when you talk about the political climate, man, it's so much stuff. So please don't wait. That's all I can say is please don't wait.
Don't wait till the last minute. Nope.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
Ian, any announcements?
Yes. The next Stock Club call will be April 26th, Sunday at 9 p.m. Central. I got a special surprise for y'all. We'll probably be on for 2 to 3 hours. So I'll see you then. Check me out at Black Effect Podcast Festival in Pullman Yards. I think that's the 22nd of April. And I would be remiss. My mom's birthday this week. I love you dearly.
Hey.
From the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all the sacrifices, everything you did for me, my brother, the family. So we're going to have a good time this week. I love you. Let's have an amazing show. And if I made you money, please put yes in chat. Everyone is uploaded, whether you're a past member or you joined this time. So everyone's in Stock Club. Prices will be out this Sunday at 9 p.m. Central. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. And don't take this market for granted. Please. And happy birthday to mom.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Big time. That's big time.
Okay, let's get into it. Trading tip of the week. What is a trading tip of the week?
Going to your point of how serious the economic climate is, for all of my futures traders, I need you to start practicing doubling your contract size. If we have double the volatility, and in addition to that, you need to double what your targets are. So if your short target was 10, you now need to move to 20. If we're going to be in economic tumult and uncertainty of every hour of the direction of the Iranian war, which is going to go, is uncertain, the one thing that you have to be certain about is what money you can pull into the market given the volatility. So while your long-term account may get beat up in the interim, and we're only a year and 5 months in, we got 3 more years of this. The thing that you have to do is, given the increase in volatility in the futures market, the crude market, ES, Dow, NASDAQ, ZB, ZN, UB, natural gas, you're going to have to double your contract sizes with practice first to be able to offset any losses you're having in your long term. A lot of times people are like, well, I can't hold for 20 or 30. It's a mistake either if you do not do so. But the easiest way to be able to hold long-term and not focus on your long-term account is to be able to trade the futures market. So double your contract sizes, double your targets, and that way you can let your account run for a long period of time.
Makes sense. I'm just thinking in terms of futures. the equivalent in the options world. Like when you say double your contracts, obviously we know if we buy one contract, that's equivalent to having the right but not the obligation to have 100 shares.
Yeah.
So doubling it would be like, I'm going to get 2 contracts. I always say get 2 if you can, because number one, if you get to that threshold of the percentage gain that you want, you can sell it, have your profit, but still have one still go. So when you're saying it in futures, 10, is it like 10 ticks and then now we're going for 20? Like how
yeah, if you're normally going for 10 ticks, go for 20. And if you're normally trading 5 contracts, now trade 10. The great part about the futures market, which options traders would love, is that for the most popular products, they're only 500 to 1,000 per contract. For my futures traders, and options is not always like that. So when options traders are like, well, this contract cost me $11,000, and people are like, well, I can't trade 2 contracts in futures. It's like, have some cojones at some point. Option traders out here smoking on some of y'all, and you can be like, well, that's because they're doing leaps. It does not matter. You have to trade more to deal with the onslaught that's coming into the market right now. I was telling everyone about Blue Owl months ago. Now we're here with that, right? So even with that, when I was doing my preliminary research, in some of those private credit funds, they're leveraging up to 9x on EBITDA. For those of you who don't know, that's not a good sign for them to be leveraged that much in those funds. And if that bubble pops soon, it's going to have a violent effect across all markets because all markets are tied together. But the only thing, and for the men in particular, regardless of what's going on in the White House or Syria or Iran, your job as the leader of your family is to be able to put up a financial bucket when you need one. Your kids and wife don't want to hear, oh, Trump messed up the market. Find a way to get a bucket either way. Double the contract sizes, double your target. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. Be dedicated.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Okay, and yes, we did say the disclaimer in the beginning intro.
Sure
so
did.
That was said in the intro video. And also somebody had put, Red Panda definitely gets a discount. So check Telegram or however Ian will disperse
check
it.
Telegram.
But yeah, if you're in Red Panda, you do get an InvestFest discount. Okay, what is the investing fact of the week?
Despite that doom and gloom, over the last 20 years, the S&P in April has been higher 80% of the time, tied with July for the most likely to be green. So even though, my favorite word, we've had a lot of tumult and there's been a precipitous dip and increase in the market because of what Trump is saying, fake news. You're going to come to a deal. I'm going to buy you, but I'm not, right? April historically is a great month for the market. It reminds me of last year's April that happened, right? Different set of circumstances, different concern, different contagion event, but April and July usually are the best months in the market. So if you're worried about last month and if we hit a bottom, I don't know, because that depends on the direction of the leadership. But April is definitely a great month for gains and a great month to deploy some capital into the market if you're afraid.
That's a good fact. I'm gonna just throw a little bit more on that because it falls right in line with the S&P.
Yep.
And so if you've been tracking that, you've seen that it's fallen below its 200-day. And so this is important. I want y'all to write these 2 dates down, right? March 19th is the day that it happened. April 19th will be 30 days from the time that it happened.
Yep.
Historically, when the S&P trails its 200-day, if it reclaims it within the 30-day span, 100% of the time,
to the moon,
the market has had a positive year. And so we're teetering, we're teetering at that 200-day. If we get above it, great. That's a great sign. The fact that it's happening in April, and what we said last week, and you just reiterated it here today, it has traditionally been the best month to trade in. If we can get over that 200-day in the next 2 weeks, it should be a good sign. And so historically, that has happened. 2012, it happened. They recovered it in 7 days. 2023, it did it in 2 days. 2025, it happened last year again. It recovered pretty quickly. So this is a little bit longer stretch than those.
for sure.
So optimistically, we'll look at it and say, all right, if it gets above its 200-day, it holds it, great. If it doesn't, we haven't seen the bottom yet for the S&P. So just keep those 2 dates in mind. April 19th, obviously March 19th is passed, But 30 days from then, if we can reclaim it and shoot above it, we should be in a good standing in terms of the S&P.
And one way to take the fear out of that, I know we talked about it before, especially in the early days, automate your investing. Because I don't want, let's say we break above the 200 and everyone's waiting for a retrace back down to the 200. Just automate the investment so that the money is deployed regardless of how you feel. Because this happened in 2020, it happened in 2022, it happened April of last year. It was these, I remember somebody telling me, well, I'm investing in real estate, I don't need to invest into the market. And I'm like, do both. They didn't do both. Then they called me this weekend. This is not Ish, by the way, for those who do clipping things. This is not Ish, by the way. And then they're like, hey, man, what should I do about the economy? I'm like, you should have invested last year. I don't have any new news. Like when you had 600,000 just laying around and you was flying around Phoenix and you going to Tucson and having fun, you should have deployed the capital. We are in one of those opportunities now. Put it in chat. Dig the well before you're thirsty. You can't call in the middle of the crisis and be like, what should I do? You have to invest before the crisis shows up. So regardless of which way we go over the next 30 or 25 days, put the money into the market. In a year, you won't even care. Remember how many people panicked over DeepSeek last year? Wow, the China conflict is a real threat. That was a perfect time to buy. So
100%. Liberation Day was another day. I think
sure.
what we're seeing is people are trying to time this to perfection, and it's never going to happen. So like people investing, getting out, trying to figure out what's the right time. You're actually not reducing risk. You're actually missing the opportunity.
And you add more stress to your life. If I wait for an 18% reduction in the market and the bond grade, it's like, bro, just put the fucking money into the market. It's going to be fine.
And again, one of those things when we watch, like, what are we watching for, right? Like if we're looking out, we want to see how the equity is trending, right? So if you miss the first 3% gain, okay.
It's okay, bro.
You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's a strong company, and maybe I'll give some away tonight. If it's a strong company, you believe in the company, you understand the story of the company, first 3%, great. All right. Let's see if we can get some gains outside of that, which will probably happen if it's a great company.
And I had a spirited debate this weekend with Serena's husband, founder Reddit, about Nike.
Whoa.
Nike's one of those companies that I don't care how much AI y'all put into it, and don't call Troy, it's not going to do well. I'm sorry. We have to be honest about which companies are going to flourish. I'm even having more concerns about OpenAI. Their IPO is going to do well.
Where'd you have the debate at?
Twitter.
Twitter?
Yeah. Yeah. It's still an incredible value. And shout to him, maybe he'll come on the show soon. He knows more than I. But
XAI.
As far as this conversation, it's just certain companies that are bleeding down dramatically. And now is not the time to catch a falling knife. You got to put your money into companies that are doing exceptionally well. And to that point, people keep saying, well, these companies won't go out of business. They don't have to go out of business to be in deep decay for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So
hit
back
the
to
like,
you, Rashad.
hit the like button and share. We definitely going to be talking about Trump and all the happenings. But we got to wait a little bit. We're gonna let the beat build. What's the brutal truth about the market?
If you're afraid to invest in this market climate heavily for the next 4 years, I'm not being flippant, you don't deserve to be rich. I remember when June came and July came and there was all this fear, and after we left NVIDIA, and people kept asking, what do we do? Like, I think last April, we probably got the most questions about what to do, right? And even though the circumstances are different, there's still an opportunity here right now, like how it was April of last year, at a deeper discount. I'm even seeing people starting to say, well, Bitcoin is going to go to zero because of quantum.
I just saw that.
It's like, bro, you don't think they're not going to use, Jack's not going to go in and infuse quantum into the encryption to make sure it doesn't. I told you this 3 years ago. As soon as they figure out how to break some of those wallets, those defense companies are going to use or leverage that technology to take it to crypto and make a VIG on the transaction. They'll be fine. It's not going to zero. BlackRock's not going to let it. But my greatest fear And a super truth about the market is because so much noise is going out about fears in the market. If you're not putting in capital, and we keep talking about UBI, the only UBI they're going to give us is this market. They're never going to give the American people of any race or creed basic income, because all the welfare and all any money that could have went to the public has been used up or is in a current Ponzi scheme right now. I'm not saying this to be fearful or to drum up fear porn, but Magic told you how much time we have left, and that timetable looks incredibly accurate. Invest or die. That's the truth. If you're not putting money into the market, in 3 or 4 years is going to be dire for a lot of people.
That was my brutal truth, man. It's invest or die. And it sounds like over the top, but if we look, it's interesting. You watch the job numbers, even though the market was closed, they released the job numbers. It's like more jobs being created, less people being fired, but nobody can find a job. And then
now, I don't know one person who's looking for a job that's got a second or third round interview.
And it's tough. And that's college graduates. That's, they put out a post about some of the Oracle employees. They had like a whole feed about their response to what happened the other day. And it was, I've been working here 30 years. I've been here 20 years. I'm a vetted employee. I don't even know what to do now. All these stories. And I'm like, these people are highly qualified, but there isn't going to be a place for them. And that's like a small microcosm of what could happen for people who potentially, quote unquote, may have less skilled in their profession. And so if you can't figure out a way to be employed and make income, and there is no other way to make income legally, then investing becomes the premier option for you, right? So that getting the knowledge now, understanding the knowledge, figuring out how to use it to your advantage, watching this, tuning into different publications and reading, it is 100% vital. It's that important.
According to Goldman Sachs, AI is cutting 16,000 jobs a month, and Gen Z is taking the brunt of that cut. So if you extrapolate that out to 12 or 24 months, even if you don't think a recession is going to land in 2027, the thing that's really interesting, no one says that 2027 is going to be a great year for almost any sector fiscally. That's scary. So,
yeah, I think another brutal truth in the market is that is definitely, well, let's just say this, there are some jobs that you can get right now. So the nursing industry is back
on fire.
Booming. The nursing industry is back booming.
That's right there.
We talked about the trades a few different times already. That's still a shortage. So there is some opportunities in the workforce. As far as the stock market is concerned, I think the brutal truth is that we are seeing corruption at the highest level possible. And that there's never been a time in American history where it has been running as rampant as it has now from the top down.
Including Madoff?
Yeah, because Madoff
was one singular.
Exactly. This is a whole ecosystem of corruption. And Madoff was pretty much doing it for himself. He burnt a lot of people. Like a lot of people, rich people got screwed because they invested with him. There's always going to be Ponzi scheme, scam artists, but this is a situation where, allegedly, even the Truth Social post, that might have just been a whole market, because I guess that the poly market, they actually did have a bet that if Donald Trump will praise Allah on Easter. Why would somebody even have that on poly market? Why would somebody even have that on poly market if it wasn't gonna, like, that's a very random thing.
It's the option trade.
So I think that you gotta invest. You have no choice. It's important. But the brutal truth about the market is that it is the highest level of corruption that we've seen in our lifetime, and the extremely rich people are using it to just print money. At this point, it's a wake up, print as much money as you possibly can, and then go to something else. Whether it was through SPACs, whether it was through the crypto scams, whether it was through NFTs.
Yeah. This moment is prediction markets.
Whether it's through Congress actually betting against or on COVID-19, already having inside information on that. Defense stocks, you name it.
Defense stocks before the Secretary of War investing in defense stocks 2 weeks before he announces that there is a war.
Allegedly, even if it's true. Allegedly,
right.
Never seen, and I'm gonna keep going back to there was a 41% request for the releasing of funds in Blue Owl, and people can say that was contained. The part that's not talked about, that was the smart money, the pension fund, fund of fund, and billionaires requesting their money out first. They're not doing it because that's the triple A graded investment. And it's going to spill over to small banks and insurance companies.
Right. If I can't squeeze my money from here, and it's interesting, it's not just Blue Owl. If you look, you can see other institutions are now putting parameters about how much you can ask for and how many times you can ask. So if we can't squeeze from this side, then you are going to start going to some of the smaller tiers and some of your smaller investors and try to liquidate, which is that could be interesting, right? When people talk about recession, that's one thing. But what if there isn't a recession and it's just like a stagflation event?
And the interesting part with that whole credit private, because even in 2022, like I started doing my research on this deeply because I'm fascinated by this topic, right? It's not mark to market, so you're not adjusting. The quality of the loans in the private credit market, the rate had never changed from 2022 to now. So if the economy is quote unquote better, how is it the same grade in 25 as it was in September of 2022? It looks, I'm not going to say like Lehman because Lehman was at 30x margin, but if it's not marked to market, when you can mark some of those loans and funds to the market, how do you have the same grade from a recession-like environment to the environment that we're in to now? And it had no grading change at all.
Somebody call Moody's. Call them.
Yeah.
Call them.
Spooky hours out here.
Spooky hours. I'm saying you don't need gossip. If you just look at the real information of what's going on in the world, all the drama is right there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's worse than The Big Short.
It's spooky hours. And so yeah, you gotta know the tricks of the wealthy. You gotta invest as much as you possibly can, work on your business, develop skills, go into careers that are still scaling. These are very important. It's a very pivotal time in human history right now. And with that being said too, I do want to talk about, we made an Instagram post that got a lot of traction. So take a couple minutes to kind of just explain it. I said this a few times, but I think it's really important for people to understand, like, one of the things that wealthy people do when you're accumulating your assets, a lot of times people are like, all right, well, what's the point of having wealth and investing if because I always said, like, the goal, my personal goal is to never sell an investment. And it's like, well,
how do you do that?
That's kind of counterproductive, because what's the point of having investments if you're not selling it, because you're never actually going to benefit from actually needing the money. So one level is that if you never need the money, that's a good thing. But another level is that if you need the money, you don't necessarily have to sell an investment to access the capital. So we put it in a post, just briefly explain it. So talk about HELOC, right? Which is a line of credit from a house. And a refi is a little different, because a refi, you're actually refinancing, you're having a new mortgage put on the house, but you're still able to get money out, right? But the HELOC is a line of credit. So if you have $400,000 and you only need 50, then you only need 50. Then you can get another 25. Then you get, so long story short, it allows you, the refi and the HELOC allows you to tap into equity that's inside of the home without selling the home. So you still have the asset, right? Then you have the security backed loan, which is when you borrow from your stock portfolio. And once again, similar to the HELOC, where you fill out an application and they'll say, okay, you have $1 million in your stock portfolio and we'll give you $500,000. Let's just get a more realistic number. If you have $500,000 in your stock portfolio and they'll say, okay, we'll give you $300,000 line of credit. And then that $300,000 line of credit is like a loan, and like a 6% interest rate, let's say. And now you can tap into $300,000. the benefit of that is that your portfolio still stays at $500,000 and it still grows and it's not depleted, as opposed to you cashing out $300,000. Now your portfolio goes to $200,000,
Yeah.
and then you pay capital gains tax. So yes, you are paying interest, but most of the time the interest is going to be less than the capital gains tax.
Yeah,
so
and it doesn't kill your compounds.
Right, exactly. So loans, that's one of the keys to that the rich utilize.
100%.
So that's why I'm not a fan of people saying that debt is bad, because when used properly, it can actually be a powerful tool, because you don't pay debt, you don't pay taxes on debt, you don't pay taxes on a loan, you don't pay taxes on a loan. So that's vitally important to understand when you're looking to build wealth, is that you can still grow wealth without touching it, taking money from it, paying it back at a relatively lower rate than if you would have taken it, sold it, and then had to pay taxes on it. Then even art, and we talked about this art thing before. The art thing is very important to understand, because also what art is that if you put it in the office, you could get a tax benefit. So what people do sometimes is they'll buy art, crazy art, they'll put it in the office, and then it becomes tax deductible, and then you can take a loan from that. So some people will be like, why would somebody have $100 million art collection? Why would somebody have a $50 million art collection? Why would you have that? Like, that's just a waste. Well, now if you have a $10 million art collection, now that you could potentially pull $5 million from that tax free. Now you start to look, and now you understand why all these guys buy art and collectibles.
I'm on that.
And even wine,
Yep.
Anything like that. And then of course, life insurance is something that, if you have cash value inside of a policy, whole life, universal life, you can borrow from the cash value, and same principles apply. So vitally important to understand this, because, that's something that not a lot of people are fully aware of their options, and they need money, and then they just sell their home, or they sell their stocks, or they sell the art, or they sell, whatever, right? But it's like, you don't necessarily have to go down that pathway. It may not be the most efficient manner for you.
Yeah.
And your 401k, you could take a loan from your 401k as well.
That's a lot of game. Yeah. Shout out to Troy Carter, probably one of the finest collectors of art that I've had the privilege of speaking with on a personal level. And shout out to Rich Paul. They actually put us on game when we went to the Clutch office. We were just looking at the art, and we're like, it's like we connect nothing but Black artists. I'm like, oh, that's fly. But then you understand the business side behind it. It's like, oh wait, each office has a painting in it. This is an office space. This is an asset class that I can now again use as leverage. But I think more importantly is like figure out how many different asset classes you can have. So like art, like you said, collectibles. I told him the other day, I'm like, yo, I'm collecting cards right now. He's like, why? I'm like, I'm just trying to find as many asset classes.
It's a hot space, bro. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I watched a $16 million Pokemon card be sold. I'm like, wait, hold on. Let me go in the crates. And I'm like, oh, wait, I got some valuables here. So it's about what you can have in terms of your asset allocation. That's what it's about. Obviously, we got stocks. We have some real estate. We have some other things that we're going to announce shortly. But any collectible I can get my hands on that can appreciate over time, have value, and I can
portfolio
use as leverage, you got to do it, man.
Especially in times of duress. I don't want you guys to do this to go overseas. But shout out to my guy Zane in Jersey. He just went to Japan to one of those card shows, and he was telling me about the ROI. Like some of those cards, you're getting 70x return on.
Crazy.
It's like interesting. So play in all asset pools, but do this in times of duress, or like get with a tax strategist to kind of plan this out. Don't just do this because you want to go buy a car and put it on Instagram. I'm begging you, because a lot of y'all gonna be like, man, I traded the options and then I got the stocks, now I got a loan. I'm like, bro, you didn't need to play bumper cars with 2 G-Wagons on IG. Be responsible, please, because they're gonna blame you. So I got to make sure.
And you can't take a loan from your portfolio if you have options in it. So that's why it's good to keep your options separate from your long-term holding. Because if you have it co-mingled, they won't give you a loan on your portfolio if that portfolio has options in it. But if you have 2 different accounts, one for options, one for long-term, then you can take a loan against your long-term. So that's some game if you're interested in, just having it. But yeah, you can do what you want with it. But that's why people, because like I said, a lot of times people just say things like, look, I'm gonna buy this $10 million. You hear celebrities and it's like they never really fully explain why they're buying so much art. But it's like, oh, now you buy $10 million art, you put it in your office, it's tax deductible. Now you could take a loan, now you can pull out $5 million tax free. Now it starts to make a little bit more sense.
Yeah. And the other part of the game they won't give us is how to get the loan on the secondary market shares if you're in a hot IPO or a hot startup.
Oh,
so that's the other game.
Yeah, that's a whole nother game. That's a fact. And that's why, and I'm glad you brought up the options part. When we started, I was like, look, this is why we have 3 different accounts, right? That's part of the reason. But
gotta keep them separate.
Also inside of that was like, yo, how can we turn some of these option calls into long-term investments, right? Like, how do we can pull shares out of that? And we've done that a bunch of times. So there's always strategies, and that's not a liquidation event, right? Like that's I turned that in to shares that I haven't sold. So yeah. I mean, the more you know, man, the more you know.
And the last thing I'll say about this is that a security loan is different from a margin account. They are different. Margin is borrowing money to buy more stocks. That's more risky. A line of credit is just that. It's a line of credit. You can do whatever you want with it. But not to be confused, they're two different things. A margin, because you can't get a margin call.
Stay away from the margins, y'all.
A margin is not the same as a security based loan.
Yeah, that's when they look at the amount of capital that's in the account. They'll say like, hey, you have a percentage here that you can use or borrow. But when they make that margin call and you may not have the equity, the amount of capital needed, then they will pull from any equity that you have. So please be careful. I don't recommend anybody using.
In the futures market, you can use margin, but that's why I say always be clear end of the day, because if you're carrying over, and let's say there's a tweet or a Truth Social post in the middle of the night and it drops your account value, you got to be very careful. And that's another reason always to keep those accounts separate, so your intraday trading or swing trading does not affect your long-term portfolio as well. Keep the contagion inside of each bucket.
Yeah, your Apple shares be missing.
For sure.
Hit the like button and share. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Trump.
47.
Talk about Trump. So, man, he went crazy yesterday, and that was another post that we put up that got a lot of good attention. So, made a post about. He made the tweet yesterday. It's not even a tweet; it's a Truth Social.
A truth post.
I tried not to. I tried not to be interrupted on Resurrection Sunday. I saw it. I sent it. I put my phone down. I couldn't. It's too much, man.
It's too much going out.
It's too much, man.
He made it. Okay. The post was so crazy that most people didn't even think. That's why I had to make a post to be like, no, that is true. Because I was seeing people posting a screenshot and people were saying like, look, we got to be more responsible with the things that we post and fact check because this is not true. I'm like, it actually is true. That's the crazy part about it. Like people didn't even believe it was true. And even when they saw it on his account, they still didn't believe it was true.
Because you don't think it could be true.
They're like, nah, somebody posted this for him. Why would you not think it could be true?
No, because you're like, this is so ridiculous. There's no way this. But when I went, No. And then I was like, what am I talking about? Let me just go to his True Social
all the
account.
things that's happened,
And then because I'm thinking it's Easter, right? Like who's
you got a True Social account?
No, I don't. But you can Google his and you can go right to it. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, so that's when I took the screenshot. I'm like, yo, this is like 8 in the morning. 8 in the morning.
Like 5 in the morning.
No, when I saw it, it was like 8 in the morning. He put it out a little early, but when I saw it, and then like y'all didn't respond, so I'm like, maybe y'all thought that wasn't real. And then
I thought it was fake. And then I was like, okay. Well, the Sudafed wore off. I was like, not so much. not so much. In the history of things that has been said, I mean, this wasn't the most outlandish.
I put it up there.
You want to tell people what was said?
Oh, we could read it.
For those who may not have been non-present with their families, and tune the news out.
It's Easter Monday.
I think everybody's seen it by now, but you can read it.
Let me see. How far back can we go? Here it goes. All right. So this is from Donald J. Trump's True Social account. Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking Strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump.
That's at the exact moment when Sudafed wore off. I said this war isn't going how they expected it to.
8:03 a.m. That's when he sent it.
It's not going. When you given our military might, and even it's been really quiet in this conflict. Alex, a Palantir. That's telling. That's very telling. So if you're having to say on a social media site that they don't have downloaded, open the Strait, that's an empty promise.
It's turned into social media warfare. I seen the Iran military responded. They said we finally made Satan a believer.
Yeah, they did respond. Then we had the Lego Wars.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Tupac on the missiles.
Tupac on the like what?
Tupac back. Tupac back. We're gonna talk about that on Blackout.
Mm-hmm.
Iran, they're winning the social media war.
For sure. Oh yeah. Whoever run that Wendy's account, they run an Iran account too.
Yeah. And there's some lessons that can be learned from that as well. Okay, so the reason why he's so in disrest right now is because that closing of the Strait is something that's really, 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 really harmful to the global economy. So just a few things, and we put this on Instagram, but just to reiterate, if the Strait stays closed for another 30 days, this is what they're expecting. Oil supply will go down 20%. Gas prices will go up anywhere from 30 to 70%. Shipping costs will go up 2 to 3 times. Inflation will rise 2 to 5% globally. Airline logistics profits will go down 20 to 40%, which means airline tickets will go up 20 to 40%.
Sure.
Energy stocks could potentially do well. GDP globally will go down 1 to 3%. Consumer spending will go down 10 to 20%. Food prices will go up 10 to 25%. Emerging market currencies will go down 10 to 30%. Supply chain delays will go up 2 to 3 weeks. Military spending increases. American debt increases, and then also helium, which is actually part of the supply chain for
semiconductors.
For semiconductors.
Yep.
It's a domino effect of things that can go extremely bad. So now. And then he just gave a press conference today, a little while ago, that said, look, tomorrow at 8:00 Eastern Standard Time, that's the deadline.
Yeah.
That's the deadline.
And it's going to be 4 hours of just nonstop bombing.
So we're in a very dangerous place right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he has really laid it all out as far as to say that he's going to blow up bridges and power plants, which is actually a war crime, by the way. If people did not know, you cannot target civilians in a war, and you cannot target things that will severely hurt or kill civilians. So when you say that you're going to target, when you say you're going to blow up every single bridge in the country, that would be like if we were in war and somebody just said, okay, George Washington Bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, like Golden State Bridge, like those aren't military sites. That's not an attack on the military. To openly say that you're going to blow up power plants and bridges, civilian infrastructure. You've already bombed the school
and airports today.
It's a war crime. It's actually it's an international war crime.
Yeah.
So,
and to think that they won't have revenge and won't bomb American companies,
or Middle Eastern facilities. I mean, Saudi Arabia's water plants, their oil plants, UAE, Qatar.
Yeah.
All of those countries could potentially, if we can't get America, we can't get Israel. That's what they're thinking. That okay, we'll get Saudi Arabia.
But there's American companies in the Middle East that are building.
Sure.
Right? We talked about all this Saudi money that was coming in. Well, part of it is like we're going to build the biggest infrastructure in the world here. Right?
Yep.
Like when you're talking about Stargate, well, part of that is in the Middle East. And when you talk about Amazon's data centers, that's already been struck. So now all these things are in jeopardy, right? So when we were getting the money from the Saudis, it was like, oh, great. Here comes international investment. More money flow is coming into this AI story. Oh, but we're going to build it in the Middle East. Well, here we are.
And the crazy thing is the Strait's not closed. It's just closed to American.
To us.
And a French ship just passed today. They worked the deal out with France. Iran has been moving their ships. The crazy thing about this, you want to know the crazy thing about this? Iran's oil profits have doubled. They've actually
as a result.
And they're on pace to make $100 million just on tolls. They're charging $2 million per ship. So
you created a surplus for an enemy through your miscalculation. And it also made me think, what if the Strait of Malacca gets closed to us and our allies? Because the thing I hated about the post, this is a Brandon in the war lesson, you never flag your weakness. When he screamed, open up the effing Strait, now because you have this imaginary 6-week Call of Duty timeline, that's a pressure point they're going to lay on. What if others do the same? Because on that chessboard, my eye remains on China. If Iran is giving us hell with the Strait, what could China do? And China's a very patient nation when it comes to revenge. Back to you, Charles.
Yeah, those deadlines. I know people putting Taco in the chat. I mean, here we are, 4 to 6 weeks. Here we are. We're at 6 weeks. Tuesday at 8 is the deadline. Well, tomorrow will be Tuesday at 8. Let's see what happens. I mean, what do you make of it at this point, right? Like, these things we can't control. You can see the greed. You can see the arrogance. You can see the ignorance. You can see the miscalculation. All those things are evident. I'm just interested, like, how quiet it is. Okay. Like, you talked about the Palantir thing. Like, even Palantir being not part of this is very strategic, right? Because of what their technology can provide. But even like yesterday, like on a smaller scale, like they told Planet Labs, listen, we don't want you showing surveillance anymore.
Yes.
That way we don't even, so the things that they're saying, oh, we've decimated their military, oh, we decimated their naval, how do we can't tell anymore because we're not getting that intel.
At
because
all.
Like, listen, that's off limits anymore. In fact, they're using it as an excuse to say, hey, if you show people that, then you can, it's a national security issue because you're actually giving away our defense techniques, right? And then 2 soldiers were missing, right? That plane got shot down. There's just so much going on.
So much information.
It's overload, right?
Even, and they trolled them on that. They said it took spent $100 million to get your soldier back. Yeah, they charging $2 million per ship. This was extremely uncalculated decision.
Miscalculated.
For sure.
Miscalculated, uncalculated, not calculated, every calculator that you can possibly think of, because you really put them in a situation where they have all of the cards right now. They actually had a civilian population that was actually rallying against their government. Now you've emboldened the government because you have outside forces that's coming in killing civilians. And you kill the Ayatollah, and then you replace him with his son, who's actually more of a hard line. The guy that they killed was 82 years old. He actually outlawed nuclear weapons. He said it was anti-Islamic and you can't do that. And they killed them.
And put in probably a more violent regime leader now. Who wants to, and understandably will want revenge.
And now you have to negotiate to get the Strait back open, but the Strait wasn't closed but when you started. So now you gotta have a negotiation for something that wasn't even part of a negotiation because it was nothing to negotiate. Yeah. This is a very unfortunate situation. I think that he was fed misinformation. I think that he was fed misinformation from Israel and from Peter Hagstaff, and he allegedly. I think that they gave him misinformation and he got himself into something. He got himself into deep waters and he didn't understand the repercussions that could potentially come from that. And now he's panicking. And I don't think that he's mentally stable either. I do think that he's mentally.
He's not as sharp as he used to be, for sure.
I think he's mentally unstable.
This is the same guy who held a press conference on Thursday to tell us that we don't, Wednesday night, right? And then Thursday he came out again and said, we don't need their oil, right? We don't need to be there. We don't have to be there. We're just helping our allies. To Sunday saying, please open the Strait. Well, in kinder words, right? Well, if we don't need the oil, right, then why are we so pressed to have the Strait open? To help our allies? You named every country that didn't help us today. Japan's on the list. South Korea's on the list, right? Every country you could think of that did not help us in this process was named. Well, Are we fighting for them?
No, well, he said it himself that if the Strait doesn't get open, it's not just us needing the oil. It's going to collapse the global economy.
Yeah, it's going to reverberate through the entire economy,
Yeah,
and
of course.
the recession level for oil is 123.71. We're at 113 right now because of his decision making.
And that's interesting too, right? We watched crude. I mean, since it started, we watched it spike up to 121, and we saw the market just tank. And over the past week or so, we're not watching it tank, even though crude is rising.
Yeah, it's tracking the same almost.
Right, it's at 113 every day. It's up another $1.
Yeah.
But we looked at the Dow today; it closed above, where it was at on Friday. So it's interesting watching how the market is taking this all in, and the news all in, and the price of crude, and watching how the VIX is performing. It's very different than when we first saw it. Yeah, right. So this makes me a little suspicious of like what's happening here.
Because the real rotation, like I hate the term sector rotation for us because it miscalculates what assets we should be in, but the rotation really is tech and energy. So now you have more money flowing in because of the crisis to both and taking advantage of these price disparities. But it's big money and smart money. It's not the average person who are piling into tech and energy at the same time. So they're taking advantage of his miscalculation and benefited from it financially, while overall the markets are being hurt and portfolios are being crushed.
The last time a president got misinformation, because this has happened before, led to the longest, most costly war in American history.
It's Rumsfeld all over again.
Yep, George W. Bush. George W. Bush was fed misinformation from his trusted. See, the thing about presidents, they don't know everything. So they don't know a lot of stuff. Actually, they're relying on information and intelligence briefings. George W. Bush got
bad intel.
He got bad information. They made Colin Powell go in front of the United Nations and say that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, ruined his whole reputation, 4-star general. And that led to the most costly and the longest wars in American history. Hopefully this doesn't come to that. But man, it was some bad information that I think that he really thought it was Venezuela. You can just go in there because they've actually executed a pretty swift game plan in Venezuela.
For sure.
That thing is working. Like they turned that around in 3 weeks. I think he thought he was going to do the same thing in Iran.
4 to 6.
Yeah.
So 4 to 6.
So all right. So the question is that now we're going to talk about the stock market. How does this affect
and really
the stock
quick
market?
for everyone who keep it like, yo, you guys are money guys or stick to the market. Like, if you be disrespectful, I'm going to be disrespectful. But the political decisions, as we told you since 2020, when we started the show, have a great impact on the market. So you have to know politically what is coming down the line. Also, too, you end up having more recessions and more of these global kerfuffles with Republican leadership at play. Back to you, Troy Rashad.
And then there's the greater North American play that people have talked about. Maybe we talk about that on Blackout, but some people think that he's doing this on purpose to create the greater North American strategy. That's interesting. But
it's interesting, yeah.
Tomorrow, 8:00.
Do we think a deal will happen tomorrow? Like, do we?
I think that it gets kicked down the can, and I think that they 45 day. They've already talked about 45
day ceasefire. But then he came out today and said he's the only person that is going to be determining whether a ceasefire is going to happen.
I mean, he's going to say anything, but I think anything can happen. First and foremost, anything can happen. Anything can happen. I would think a 45 day ceasefire would happen. I would think that would. I think that's the leading odds of what could potentially happen.
I was going to say I'm leaning toward that. I'll be interested. What does Polymarket say? Somebody put in chat and look up what Polymarket says if a deal is going to happen tomorrow.
What do you think is going to happen at 8:00 tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm interested.
I Kodak Black voice. I hope so, but My concern is a week later, will he say something to upset leadership over there? And it takes it off the table. And when you're negotiating with someone who is not on the same page as you, temperament matters a lot. And like you said, this is like Rumsfeld 2.0, Cheney 2.0. There's vested interest in us being in these wars, and some of which are unwinnable either in perception or in strategy. I keep saying he got El Mencho and then went and got Maduro, and then he was like, okay, great. I'm going to go 3 for 3. There's different terrain, different strategy, different territory, different motivations, different allies. Just because you got a win here does not mean you're going to get a clear win elsewhere. So I'm hoping for a ceasefire. I just don't know if his temperament will let that persist for a long period of time.
I just wonder at what point does his arrogance, it's already like out of control, but when is it, I'm sure he hears the taco thing and he's going against his word and it's all about the art of the deal. At what point did he says, you know what, this is my hard line? Like what if that happens? Then this is like something completely different. So it's tough. Like even to look into the market, it's tough because it's uncertain. Like this is the highest level of uncertainty because we really don't know.
I think that the concerning thing for me is I think that he wants to make a deal. And I think Iran is willing to make a deal. The concerning thing to me is that sometimes you get into a fight with somebody and then there's a third party that has a vested interest in sabotaging the peace.
Yep, because they want the conflict to continue. Yep, on both sides, by the way.
Yeah, and what concessions will be inside that deal, right? Like he said, you talked about the duties that people are paying, the $2 million. He's like, we want this duty free. They should be able to travel through there with no fees. Like that's obviously not something that's going to happen. Like what are the concessions that are going to be
traveling through there with no fees before? But let me just.
But when you start collecting $2 million,
but let me just watch for the sabotage. Mm-hmm. Watch for the sabotage. That's the part that's concerning to me. Mm-hmm. Watch for the
amongst the advisor circle.
Or outside entities that have a vested interest in what they want to do. That's the dangerous part. That's the wild card that you really can't control. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about each scenario for people's stock portfolio or just the stock market in general. If worst case scenario happens and they run the red light and he actually does do what he says he's going to do and decimate the entire country, well, that's not good. How does that play on the global economy, stock market, and everything?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if it's gonna have the blockbuster, no pun intended, black swan effect that everyone thinks. Because if you look at the VIX peaked in March, and so far, it's hovering at 23. In my estimation, I thought VIX would have been at 32 by now. Will it have a short-term impact, but will it have the impact it would have had 10 years ago? I don't think so. Will there still be uncertainty out there as a result? Will it put pressure on the fear and greed index? Yes. But as I look at the VIX right now, the VIX is at 2389. I think most of that has been priced in already, unless we enter a World War III scenario or there's a scenario in which we just get decimated. I don't think it's going to have the greatest impact on the market. It's not going to lead to us being in a recession or a 15% drop in the S&P.
Well, it depends. I'm with you up until the point where it depends. Can they open the Strait? Because if they do all of that and they still can't open the Strait, then that supply chain issue, the obviously inflation will peak. All those things that we Shadi listed earlier are going to happen. Yeah. And in that scenario, then we're looking for some really troubling times, right? Because that Strait is important, obviously, for the oil, but we talked about the helium, right? There's other things that pass through that, and it's not just affecting us, right? It's affecting other countries. We talked about South Korea, we talked about China, we talked about India. If they can't open the Strait, that is problematic. If they can't, and I don't know if it's what their plan is it, do we decimate and try to take control or fight for control of the Strait? That waterway is the most important
It's
piece
incredible.
to me in this scenario. So even with
Two
all
levels.
the things that they're threatening, can they get that?
And the thing about the Strait is that it's not like a toll where they actually have it chained up. Ships are going through that they want. You don't have to stop every single ship to go. You just have to have enough fear that ships don't want to go through. Meaning, if it's 10 ships and you hit one of them, well, that's pretty risky.
Yeah,
That's pretty risky.
You can't.
If you hit two of them, no, that's very risky. Now, if you hit 3 ships, that's only 30%. That effectively shuts it down.
Of course.
That effectively shuts it down. So that's the thing. That's why it's so difficult, because for people, for full context, America has the strongest military. It's like, why can't they just open it straight? It's almost like guerrilla warfare. You just have to have fear. You have to have enough fear that nobody wants to pass it. And like I said, you don't have to have 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
You just have to hit enough of them. And that's kind of hard. Yeah. That's kind of hard to fend off for 100 ships that 8, you can't guarantee that 8's going to not make it.
And they're not fighting the most like advanced technology when it comes to their war, right? They're saying like, we're going to get a speedboat with the missile launcher and we're headed straight for that boat right there. So like the traffic has slowed. It used to do like 120 ships a day. It's down to 10.
Yes,
right. Like right now, 10 are passing through. And you can't, if there's 10 speedboats coming at, what can you do? Right. So do you risk it? Do you say like, okay, let's try to pass through?
It's not worth it. And 2 key levels to keep your eyes on. The oil being at 123.89 and then VIX being at 31.85. That's when you'll start to get a calculation going back to 2 weeks ago, economic levers. Those are 2 price points where things will start to put pressure on him to do differently. And then also too, a lot of people know that this is a gross miscalculation, that this wasn't the best way to get whatever his agenda was. This was not the best way to go about it.
Yeah. There was that scenario where Venezuela, we took the crude, right? But the functionality of it wasn't complete, right? It had to have another formula in order for it to be used as petrol. And the other piece was inside of Iran. I mean, we'll see, man.
And in war, one of the biggest mistakes is to make a counter or fall for the trap that your enemy set for you. This was not our issue to begin with. Go ahead, Rashad.
Yeah, he said we have no benefit of being there. Yeah, this is live. This is definitely live. Hit the like button.
Yes, live.
Okay, so on the other side, if they do come up with a deal, that's good. How will that affect the stock market?
It'll be like April of last year, to the moon. Off to the races. Now he can go on in True Social and be like, I brought the market back. Me and Melania. Like he's gonna be celebrating as if he did something glorious when you're just recovering and getting back to the baseline of where you should be. So a lot more money will flow in. I think the desire to buy energy assets will taper off. Tech will take off to the upside. Bonds will retreat back down. And it will make for a clearer IPO market as well. So he cares a lot about how the stock market is doing because he thinks that the stock market is a pure reflection of the economy, and it's not. No packing. So that would be a great sign for the market, but we would just be to the levels where we should have been if he wouldn't have made the decision to even mess with Iran.
He brings it up all the time. He's really concerned about the stock market in every press time. And that number of 50,000 always comes up, right? Nobody said we'd be at 50,000 in 4 years. We've done it in one. Like here we are. I'm like, well, on inauguration day, we were at like 47,000. So yes, it did grow, but like, bro, this isn't like a 40 to 50,000. You know what I mean?
No.
And here we are now trading like literally at that mark. So it's kind of been flatlined for a little bit, but he cares, and I'm with you. If and prayerfully there is some type of resolution here. Yeah, we're gonna see the NASDAQ run a little bit here. It got hit hard. S&P got hit. Dow got hit. But those type of scenarios, when there's certainty, when people are still looking for growth, they're gonna run back to tech, right? And then when they're looking for mega growth, they're gonna even put more money into tech. Plus, we're starting a new earnings season, so that would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, you need a safe
Hopefully,
landscape.
hopefully, create a problem to solve a problem.
Yeah, and then boast about it. That's the formula.
It's crazy.
But hopefully you can get this done because, well, first and foremost, you don't want to see anybody lose their life. So if they don't get this done, there's going to be a lot of people that can get killed. And there's already been a lot of people that's been killed already. So hopefully they can get this done.
But for the first time, and I'll end with this from my standpoint. This is the first time I heard him say that he didn't like this. Like everything we've been decimating them. They're going back to the Stone Age. And today was the first time I've actually him said, like, I don't like this.
He
Like,
said no.
No, he did. No, 100%. He said,
I don't want to do that.
He said, I don't like this. You think I want to see people being killed? I don't like this at all.
He said, I don't want to do no.
100%, bro.
He said, I don't want to do that.
He 100% said, I don't like this. I don't like seeing people being
killed. Oh my God, are Troy Rashad in conflict again and going to break up?
The context is important, though. Yeah. He said that after they said that he's committing a war crime. So you got to say that. You got to say that because on the other hand, he's the first United States president to open. Now, there's been war crimes committed by other United States presidents,
but he openly stated that
he's the first United States president. I also don't think that he's fully educated on because he's a reality TV show star and a real estate mogul and an investor. He's not educated on politics. Like he didn't come up the ranks through law school. He didn't go to Yale, Harvard, like law school. Like these guys, Barack Obama, George Bush, like whether you like them or not, they're educated on politics and how the Supreme Court works, stuff like that. Sometimes I don't think that he fully even understands what he's doing. I don't think he knew that blowing up a bridge is a war crime. I don't think that he actually knew that. So when you say that, that's pretty serious to actually just openly admit that you're going to commit a war crime.
Does not care?
I don't think that he's fully educated.
I don't think he's informed.
I don't think he cares. Because here's the thing. Here's why I say I don't think he cares. No other president has been given the leeway and the free will to do whatever he wants, say wherever he wants. No one.
The toddler doesn't know the rules.
Yeah, no one would have imagine any other president putting that tweet out on Easter. Right? They would be calling for the 25th Amendment. How can we impeach? Right? I didn't hear anybody say anything today. I'm waiting like, all right, maybe the other side will say something. They'll condemn this. Nothing. It was quiet.
They're afraid.
Exactly. Which means that I can rule however I want. I don't care.
No, the other side says some stuff. Bernie Sanders says something. Omar Ilya says something.
Was it blasted? All I'm saying is like, was that put front and form? It wasn't on my feed. I didn't see anything. Like I can turn to MSNBC and see that, right? Like I might have heard like a few, but like that should be like the lead story.
Bernie put it on his social media.
Did Gavin say anything?
Gavin Newsom?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't impeachment be on the table?
Because the Republicans control Congress.
But just the idea, though.
They said it. Lily Omar, she tweeted it.
But I'm saying the feed it's not strong enough, right? Like that message is not strong enough.
Because it's not going to happen.
Or maybe it could.
But he is losing favor in terms of polling. For sure.
Or maybe it could. Maybe there is somebody on his side that's like, yo, this is outrageous.
Well,
where's Drewski at, man?
Let's say this before we leave this topic. For people that's interested in the portfolio, let's talk each step by step. What should traders be doing right now?
Traders should stick with their plan of what they had, and this is why I always say, regardless of circumstances, you have to know every risk. My homework assignment for the night: act as a world-class investor. Give me the top 50 black swans that are probable for the next 50 years and calibrate my portfolio according to it. You can't say I lost all my money trading or investing because you didn't plan properly. This is why I say sit down and do the homework. You have to study the history of the economy, what throws the economy off, how a portfolio would do in terms of a crisis if it lasts for a year versus 4. For everyone who's worried about this Iran war, we were in war for 20 years over the weapons of mass destruction. It was also because of quantitative easing, context matters, one of the greatest times to invest in American history. You have to study this shit if you want to be rich. There's a lot of work and Mamba mentality that comes with being prepared. You can't treat this like a hobby because they're in office not treating it like a hobby. Hold for the long term.
Any advice for
If I
traders?
made you money, please put yes in chat.
For traders, for investors, this is the time.
And traders.
So this is the time, like I said, and this has been my message for the past 3 weeks. Like in times of uncertainty, this is when you got to find your clarity, right? So there are plenty of companies that have pulled back 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%.
It's a blessing.
60%, right? At that point, it shouldn't be, hey, what should I do now? At that point, all those check boxes that you have on your plan should have a green check on them, right? Depreciated, hit my threshold. Options depreciated, hit my threshold. Strong company, perfect, hits my threshold. Is it an opportune time to buy? Hit my threshold. So you're now checking off all of the markers in your plan, and you're saying, all right, well, the last thing is that last box, execute.
Yeah, and you got to buy time. You have to give time for this to long-term and short-term. Even if they announce a deal tomorrow and the war is over, it's going to take a couple months for the market to recalibrate to feel that everything is safe. Hold for the long term.
Please.
Okay. Yeah. Investors, retirement. Let's start with people that's in their retirement, 401k. I would advocate that you would just stay the course. I don't think what happens during these situations that happened in 2008 is that people go to money markets. Your account goes down 20%. You start to panic. You liquidate it. You liquidate your whole entire account. You go into a money market. And that's very dangerous because you don't actually get back into the market in time, and you lose a lot of money by doing that. Stay the course. If you're in a retirement account, you should already be balanced. I would say a target date fund anyway, so you're not heavily leveraged depending on your age. Don't even look at it if it gets to that point. You know, you're not touching this money. It's not day trading, but do not liquidate your account. Hold the line.
Hold.
Vitally important. Vitally important.
Somebody asked what companies are trading below 20%. I mean,
a bunch. Figma, the Oracle,
Microsoft,
Microsoft. Yeah.
Microsoft.
Nvidia is down 19%, so it's right there. Meta was down 22%. The mega caps are there. Tesla.
It's a bunch. Tesla is starting to get beat up.
Yeah.
Somebody said lost 33K in my 401k, Rashad. You only lose it until you actually take the money out. It's only a loss on paper. So, and nobody wants to
jump out the plane.
Nobody wants to see their account down $33,000. That I get it, but it's only a loss until you actually liquidate. Stay the course,
please. Yeah.
Stay the course. That's important.
Realized and unrealized.
And the last thing is for long-term investors and just regular. What's your top 3 stocks to buy right now?
They haven't changed.
What are they? For somebody that never watched the show before, some people this might be their first time watching the show.
For the first time listeners, thank you for being here.
Listeners.
There you go.
If you want safety, I'm gonna give you safety. I would do Microsoft, Apple, and I'm going to lean on Visa. Microsoft, Apple, and Visa. Those are the down deep. Microsoft for sure. Apple, despite the AI misstep and what they could have done to improve Siri, they've calibrated well for these moments, and economically, with Tim being a great operator, can't wait to return, calibrates well for these moments. And I think Visa has been oversold too much, given how many, like they process 64% of all the transactions in the world.
Yeah, global.
Yep. So those are 3 outside of the 2 Tech 2 index formula. Does 2 Tech 2 index still work? Yes, of course. But those are the 3 I will lean on heavily over the next year and a half.
I'll just tell you exactly what I did buy in the past month. I bought more Nvidia. I bought
home run.
Google.
Home run.
Especially with this IPO of SpaceX looking like it's going to happen at some point this year. I bought more Micron. Everybody's favorite.
Home run.
Yeah. And I bought XLK. I bought the technology ETF. And I have one tomorrow that I'm going to put in EYLU. that we've been talking about for a few months now. I put it in my top 10 companies this year. It hit a price point, and they had some news. I shared it with Shadi earlier that I think is going to have a really nice rebound in the back 6 months of this year. So those would be my three. That ETF and SMH. I'm looking at
4. Yeah.
Well, for SMH, I wanted to get into it, but it just hasn't pulled back to a point where I'm like, all right, we can add some more here.
If I can give one more, since Troy gave a fourth, waste management is is an absolutely amazing business, recession proof, conflict proof, almost black swan proof. During this time when the market has been down, they have been solid overall. They're currently at 233. All-time high was 248. Been an incredible business. If you go back to 2024, they were at 149, and in maybe 3 or 4 years they should be at 310. So if I have to pick one that's conflict proofed, AI proof, and it takes all the risk off the table long term, waste management is an amazing company.
I added one more. I'm sorry. You want to give yours?
Oh my God! Come on, let's do. We will do top 10.
I just looked at the post I had. It was. I also added Netflix. I did a Netflix call at 100, and today it crossed 100, which has been like. Sometimes there's numbers that you want to see it hit. Like from a mindset standpoint, can it get to 100? Can it cross 100? We saw that happen today. So yeah, Netflix was something I added as well.
Yeah, Microsoft is down 30%. That's important to understand that, you know, a company like Microsoft is down.
It's in a recession, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Bitcoin down 48% from its all-time high. You got NVIDIA down 17%. It's always good to dollar cost average into ETFs, invest with Invesco. Over the long run, you're going to, you know, always make money off those QQQs. But I definitely think that Microsoft is something that if you've never invested before, it's a relatively safe bet. That investing has considerable risk. Consult your advisor. Not to say that it can't go down anymore, because it definitely can, but hold it for 10 years. I think you're going to make money. I think if you buy Bitcoin right now, you hold it for 10 years, you're going to make money. Not to say that Bitcoin can't go down anymore, but it's down 48%. It's almost down 50%. So you gotta look at, you know, what's the best company that's down the most.
Yep, Microsoft. And if you never want to guess where to invest or what to buy, go to ianinvest.com and join the Red Panda Stock Club. I'll tell you where to get in, where to get out, 3 prices for every stock. Matter of fact, I have 2 new stocks that I really love that I'm going to put prices for tonight in Kajabi. This Sunday at 9 p.m. Central, I have the stocks and the prices for the month. So if you never want to guess what to buy or where to get in, go to ianinvest.com.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up QQQ. Did you guys see that what BlackRock did today? Did you guys see that? So they announced it. Yeah. So obviously QQQ Invesco technology ETF, BlackRock today announced that it's going to create its own competitor for QQQ.
Smart.
Yeah, so they're calling it IQQ. And it's going to be pretty much the same. I'm sure there'll be different asset allocations inside of it to have some different, but they were looking at it like everybody talks about Invesco, and now BlackRock has announced that they're gonna have their own technology ETF.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Larry at it again.
And I will say this too, April 25th, Westchester County Center, we will be speaking at the Health is Wealth Forum. Shout out to the brother Dave. You can get your tickets to that. You can go to, I believe the website is countycenter.biz. And they got vendors there. It's an all-day event. I think Mike is speaking there too.
Mike is there. Mike will be there. We will be there. That's hometown. This is a homecoming for us. So yeah, show some love. Come up, pull up on us. We're gonna be there for pretty much most of the day. So make sure y'all there. And if you got the book, bring the book. We'll sign the books. Yeah, but the family gonna be in the building, man. So y'all should be there.
And we all coming.
And
NVIDIA what?
Oh yeah.
Invest in NVIDIA?
No, a walkthrough.
Oh yeah,
for the mastermind.
Well, they got the information already.
Yeah, they got it.
They got the information already. That's the second part of the mastermind. JP Morgan warns that Tesla could drop another, was it 40%? 60%?
This is interesting. I want to let you go, and then I got someone want to chef up.
Two thoughts. The timing of when this came out, if this was a top of your prediction, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. But I think also too, this kind of thing gets headlines, which also drums up business. If we hit a black swan event or baby black swan, do I see a scenario in which Tesla could go to 256.75? Possibly. And my estimation is less than an 8% chance of that happening. But do I think there's a little vendetta inside of some of these banks at him, given, because if Tesla drags down to 256, then where does the rest of the Max 7 begin to calibrate and start to decay and fall down? So I'm not worried about this as much as some of the other companies we talked about. I told Stock Club probably 4 months ago where Microsoft was going to drop to. So I'm not worried about it. It's something I would keep on a watch list and set my level to. If I was going to buy, I would buy at that 256 level. But I think this is much overblown. I do see Jamie as well. Kudos to Jamie Dimon. Has been on a tour stating of how far he thinks the market could run. Once again, if this was stated top of the year, I would have a different feeling about it. But in the midst of the war that we're going through, literally, and the financial war that we're going through, I think the timing is just ill. I think this is much overblown. What do you guys think?
It's interesting. Yeah, 60% drop down to 145 it says a lot. I think the piece that makes it very interesting is that SpaceX is about to IPO this year.
That's my point.
And so I'm calling it the innovation premium, right? The innovation premium. So when you think Elon, you think the AI, you think space, you think robotics, you think future of tech, and you invested in that by investing in Tesla, right? It wasn't about the automotives. It hasn't really even been about the robotics, although I think that's going to be a very important piece this year. But it's about the innovation that he has, the way he's looking at the future and trying to be a part of that. So people believed in the CEO, so they invested in Tesla. Well, if SpaceX IPOs, now do you split that innovation? Because half of the innovation might be now with Starlink. All those things are there, and now we're left here with the robotics. Are people selling, or will they sell Tesla in order to now invest in SpaceX? It's an interesting proposition. I'm starting to hear more talk about it, but it could work both ways, right? Like people could say, hey, this robotics things that you had, the autonomous vehicles, it really is taking longer than we thought, right? It was we saw some trials for it last June. It was supposed to be here by this June. Where's the update on that? Or is your focus strictly on SpaceX and where that's headed with potentially a $2 trillion value? I mean, they could open at $2 trillion. Like it'll be the fifth wealthiest company in the world. Is that where the focus is? And that's always been the issue with Tesla, right? As soon as we say Elon isn't focused, we watch the stock pull back in Tesla. Now is the focus, where is the focus, right? Is it with this company or is it that company? Or will he show that SpaceX is so innovative that the remnants are going to rub off on to the company in Tesla, and there's going to be more innovation that's coming. So I think there's two ways to look at it. But 145 is pretty drastic.
That's a hell of a discount.
Yeah, that's pretty harsh, especially with all the focus that we had leading into this year in terms of robotics and autonomous vehicles. So it'd be interesting to see.
Okay, you bring up a good point as far as people. Tesla has disappointed on car sales
over and over,
and the robotics can definitely end up being a metaverse moment for him. It could be a metaverse moment for him.
Well, I got a counter when you're done.
So people are investing in Tesla because they just believe in Elon Musk. Now, when you have another company that is a better company and a more important company because SpaceX is more important than Tesla. No matter how much of an idiot he is or a jerk he is,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
He's litigious, allegedly.
His SpaceX technology is he has a monopoly on space. That's pretty important. More important than, like I said, these robots. When I say it's a metaverse moment, Mark Zuckerberg changed the name of his company to Meta and invested $80 billion because he thought that the metaverse was going to be the future, and that completely failed.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be 100 million robots in the next 10 years? I don't know. Who knows? That could be another. Not
on Earth.
That could be another metaverse. That could be another metaverse moment. But his SpaceX technology, his SpaceX thing is there's no denying that. Tesla could very well not even make it past another 10 years. That's a possibility.
Not in the traditional sense of, and I think I mean, it's well documented. Like, they're not interested in just selling cars. I think the focus has to be on AI, using that in an autonomous way to, number one, make you income, but make the company income, and have robo taxis throughout the world.
But that's what I'm saying. They have competition in every. They have competition in the car space,
in the EV space. Yes,
they're gonna have competition in the robotic space. They have competition in the solar panel space. He has no competition in space at all.
Not at that scale.
No, not at scale.
Not at his scale.
Not at scale.
Yeah.
Blue Origin, not at scale. He's dominating space at a level that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So,
I think bigger than space is the Neuralink piece, which is satellites, which is in space. And I think the partnerships that they've had, Planet Labs, obviously Google's investment in that, them seeing it early, that doesn't hurt. But
can I give a counter?
All right, go ahead. Because I want to paint a scenario where I didn't know if you was finished, but you want to let
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I put on this weekend. I said I think there'll be a restructuring of the Mag 7 by 2029, and I think he could have 3 of the top 7 companies in the Mag 7 if he plays his cards right. So Starlink is the technology to me that matters the most, because that is the framework for interconnectivity in outer space. I agree, he has a ton of competition in the car space, but the robotics arm is incredibly important to the development of SpaceX. So I think a lot of people are looking at it as, should you invest or one or another? They're not going to let him build a hyper company or a hyper conglomerate. He has to keep them separate for now because of some of the political enemies that he's made. Yeah. I think he's going to develop Tesla into a robotics company. In 25 years from now, you are damn near going to forget about the car, and the robotics to be in outer space is going to be the move. And if you can have 3 self-funding engines to then run the world, he's going to have a huge competitive advantage there. I've been one of the main ones who said for years, Tesla is not his fucking end goal to be chairman or CEO of. Starlink or SpaceX is. So the ultimate goal, huh?
You about to? That's what I was about to make this point, but you're making it. Go ahead, keep going, man.
Yeah, the ultimate goal is to have 3 separate entities, and then to come off as a savior to mold them into one to save the American economy. So these are just chess pieces. It's no difference than if you guys had, well, I don't want to say none of the business ventures coming up, but if there was like 3, like you have Rock Nation, let's say you have artists, and then let's say if Jay-Z bought all the tour facilities in Australia and England, they look like they're separate, but the idea is to become a conglomerate. He's been putting that in play for a long period of time. I think he got off track due to his relationship with Trump, but even that was a political and a chess move for him. So I've always said that he doesn't want to run Tesla as CEO. I think they'll find a chairman, but they're going to evolve to a robotics company that services SpaceX. But Starlink is the star technology of all those companies that he has.
I think I'm with you. I think 25 years is I think it's happening before that. I think we get there a lot sooner than 25 years. So Starlink, SpaceX, Starlink is inside of that. XAI is inside of that. And you kind of
He's going to
lose to
spin
it.
one of those off the IPO.
But the Neuralink piece is kind of like just out. Like, I mean, like it's there. I saw somebody who had ALS, got their speech back in their new trial. Is there a world where it becomes one conglomerate stop where the robotics and Tesla are now merged with this company, which is now SpaceX?
You got to, but you got to have a safe regulatory environment to be able to have that happen. That's why I think he's trying to keep them separate
for now. For now.
Yep, for now.
But this is like the Tony Stark moment where you have all those things and now you become the wealthiest company in the world. Well, he might still fall short. NVIDIA probably will still at that $4 trillion.
Tesla's a liability though. Tesla's losing money. Starlink and SpaceX. One of the same almost because they're in line with each other.
It's the same company.
They're one of the same. SpaceX can. I don't think that Tesla is needed in the SpaceX ecosystem. It doesn't hurt.
It is for the robotics standpoint and for the funding mechanism.
Robotics, satellite, all those things combined.
But the they already have the satellites.
That's what I'm saying. So Starlink is inside of the company SpaceX.
Right. They have the satellite. I'm talking about Tesla.
Yeah, but if you have the robotic, the autonomous vehicles, now you have a satellite that can actually control.
Yeah, but the company's not doing well. No, in theory, 100%. It makes all the sense in the world.
Here's my question:
the company is not selling that many cars anymore.
Is SpaceX doing well?
Well, SpaceX has the best. they have the best thing going for them. Government contracts.
Okay, well, Tesla has government contracts too.
But SpaceX has a different level.
So here's the thing, right? When the IPO happens, and this will be interesting to watch. It's something we should watch.
Liquidity event,
right? How much revenue did SpaceX bring in last year? You know, 16 billion. Nothing to sneeze at. You know how much these space exploration. You know how much these space exploration missions were?
And if the development cycles are that for Tesla and that led to failure, if we're talking rockets, the failure rate is going to be higher there. It's not going to be enough. That's why you need, even in my opinion, they probably won't let him. At some point, he has to spin Starlink off to compete with everybody. That's the key component. And people keep saying he's not going to do it. I'm like, you have, like GE has been a classic example of taking assets and making them publicly traded. There's a blueprint for it. There's a lot of, it's a capital intensive business. He needs different oceans of revenue to be able to drive that capital back into the machine and then be able to piece them all together like a transformer. So Rashad, I get your point, but just from a market cap valuation perspective, he can reimagine what that company we wouldn't be able to do it, but he can take it from an EV company to a robotics company to a space derivatives company and then find ways to funnel money in and out of that organization to go to the mothership. No pun intended.
Yeah. So the government contract, and when I'm looking at on the surface, it feels like, oh, that should be enough for it. But what government are you getting the money from? Is it just the United States government? Right, because we saw what happened with Tesla when it was just a United States thing, right?
Yeah, he's not gonna make the mistake again.
We closed out on the whole economy, but the Starlink piece, that's a global thing that can really help people. Mm-hmm. That becomes
that's the one
commercial use, enterprise use, and individual
use. B2G,
exactly. Like we're looking at it, like we're traveling to Africa. Like, well, how stable is the internet? Well, when we go there, people are like, oh, I got Starlink.
Well, that's why. But he also has the satellites in Earth in space from SpaceX. So they're one and the same. He's definitely in control of the world's internet. He's going to be in control of the world's internet because he shut down the internet in Iran before, and then he's working with other governments. He gave Israel his technology when in Gaza. He shut down Iran, South Africa. Even after everything that they went through, they still had to go through him. You said Ghana. He can control the internet for a country. He can control the internet for a country right now. Right, only he probably can't control China's skies. They're too advanced. But for most countries, he can control internet if he wants to take over right now. he could take over the internet. But then Mike also made a point that Tesla is a data company. So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see how this all plays out. But let's talk about the next topic, VIX. The VIX. How does the VIX? Where are we at right now with this? Looking at the VIX.
A few people asked me, "Are we in a trap?" And the VIX is currently at 23.95. On the 30th of March, it was at 29. I don't think we're in a trap. I think a lot of things have already been priced in. The thing that people forget, especially in that Bloomberg terminal, there's a lot of information that is being shared in real time with the brightest and the best. So some of these things have already been priced in. I think they probably already have an idea of when the war is going to come to an end as well. They just may not be able to publicly say it. So it's one of the things I look at every day when I'm researching and studying the market. The VIX future, but also VIX. You guys can put that in Schwab or Thinkorswim or TradingView. If we break up to 38.12, I'll have some concern then. But once again, it's also a really great time to buy. But I don't think we're in a trap. I think this is an event that we'll look back on in 2 or 3 years, and it's going to be a blip in history in terms of should you have been concerned to have your money out of the market. And on top of that, the difference between now and 2008, the information that we have is better. Retail investors are probably the best class that we've ever had, but there's also a lot more money being poured into the market in almost every ETF. Like the size of these ETFs dwarfs what they were in 2008 and 9. And also the part that isn't discussed enough, where else are you going to place your money to get a high return? Unless you're an accredited investor with a relationship, you can't park money into Databricks pre-IPO. It's the only game in town. Yes, you can put the money into real estate, but you're going to have a lot more capital. So it's a bunch of different instances now that are different than 2008, but there's so many great companies to invest in opposed to 2007, 8, and 9, where the quality wasn't as great. We have a bunch of $1 trillion companies and if you told me this would have happened 15 years ago, I would have thought you'd been alive. Some of these companies are going to IPO at $1 trillion and some change.
Insane.
The quality is better.
You just like said Databricks, and like we just kind of breezed over that, but they're gonna IPO at like $100 billion valuation.
Yeah.
You remember like 5 years ago when we were saying that about, oh my gosh, Stripe has a chance to have the highest
can't believe
IPO. It's 134 billion, and now it feels like $100 billion
it's
IPO.
a drop in a bucket. Yeah.
I think you nailed it when you're talking about the VIX. I think I'm saying that I look at the VIX every day. You're saying that you look at the VIX every day. If we're all saying that we look at the VIX every day, you should be looking at the VIX every day. In fact, if you took just like a glimpse of the VIX, I'm not sure you'd be able to determine what's actually happening in the
It's almost like there was no conflict.
Because if you go back to 2020 and the beginning of the pandemic, and you look at how the VIX spiked and the levels it got to, if you're looking at that, nothing, you say something happened. Yeah, something happened there. That is an outlier. Something happened here. And if you look at it now, it's okay. We got to 30.
24.
Yeah, it's really kind of
a non-factor. Like the deep sea issue went to 60.
Exactly. You look at it from if you're just looking at that chart of the VIX, you look at January of 2024. You say something happened there. There was an event that happened because this spiked. It got up to 60. Something happened, and then you kind of see consolidation, and then you might see it bump up to 30 every now and then, and it feels like we're in that moment. In fact, like when you look at the future, you look at the futures for crude. Like yes, we're at 113 here after hours. But look at May futures for crude. Look at June futures for crude. Are they descending in price? And if they are, which they are, that tells you that they're not planning on it being that high much longer. Which is another telltale sign.
In 2015, VIX is at 53.34. 2018 was at 50.43. Of course, 2020 we were at 85. In 2024 we were at 66. We're at 24.17 now. It's been priced in.
The volatility index. Somebody's asking volatility index, VIX.
Yep.
Well, the volatility index, well, volatility itself, is this an opportunity for people? Volatility, you want to even just explain why volatility is important for people that might not even fully understand when we talk about volatility, why we even talk about volatility?
That's a great question. There's a direct correlation between how much volatility the stock goes up and down. There's a correlation between how much return you're going to get. So if a stock drops 30%, you can expect to double or triple long-term gains from there, opposed to if, let's say, a stock was only moving 1 to 2% up or down, you're going to have compressed gains as a result. So I love to make the analogy, like if a house is on sale or a house is normally $1 million and it drops 30% in value, everybody will rush to get that. But when it happens in the market, not as many people do. Volatility is an immense opportunity. And I really think in 2 years, no one's going to care about this Iran conflict when they look at their portfolio. I'm not saying that flippantly. Go ahead, Rashad.
I also like Chris Johnson. He made a good comparison about, I forgot exactly how he worded it, but it was like a roller coaster. Volatility is a few ways to look at it, but he's talking about from a Bitcoin standpoint. A roller coaster is very volatile, but it's safe. It's relatively safe, right? Like you have very good odds of getting on a roller coaster and getting off a roller coaster.
And getting off safely. Yep.
Probably not going to die, right? But it's very volatile. And that's kind of like what Bitcoin has been so far since its inception. Like it's been very volatile, but it's not. It hasn't like been delisted. It hasn't crashed. It hasn't gone to zero. It hasn't like so. The volatility is not necessarily a bad thing. It's the security. It's the security that you want to be, because something that's volatile that has no security, now that's dangerous. But just because it's volatile doesn't make it an asset that is uninvestable.
Yeah, the tech sector as a whole is incredibly volatile. You can argue from 99 to 2009, the tech sector was underwater. And if it wasn't for quantitative easing, we wouldn't have the valuations that we have today. But for everyone, if they missed out from that 99 to 2009 run, which is a great time to build a base, you missed out on possibly tens of millions of dollars. So volatility is needed. It's unfortunate that it happens, but if a stock is down 20% or a high quality company like Microsoft is down 30% and nothing changed about the structure or the policies or the systems in the business from last December, that's an incredible deal that you have to be a part of.
And somebody said, what do I mean by security? Like, okay, Bitcoin, it's like riding a roller coaster that has a really good track record, right? Now you could go through a bunch of other cryptocurrencies that were pump and dumps that were very volatile, but they were not safe because now that they don't even exist anymore. They got to the point where it's just zero. So that's not safe investment. It's volatile when you can go from 1 penny to $1 in 2 weeks. That's very volatile, and you can make a lot of money on the volatility, but it's not safe if it's not even going to be here next week, or in 2 weeks it's going to,
like a penny stock or NFTs or
right. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not word salad, it's filet, it's wagyu if you execute and listen.
I think the ticker says it all, right? Like volatility creates opportunity. Like if you know nothing, here's the 3 things you should know when you look at a chart: uptrend, downtrend, consolidation.
Yep, and flat. Yep.
Right? Those are the 3 things you should know in your chart: uptrend, downtrend. Is the stock going up? Is it going down? Or is it trading sideways, which just means consolidation? If you can get those 3 things, put your seatbelt on, enjoy the ride, and you'll be here long term. There'll be ups, there'll be downs, but if you're in a strong company, right? Like in that top 20 or a lot of the tech ones we talked about that have growth, you're gonna enjoy and being invested in it long term. Put your seatbelt on.
And on the VIX side, I've never said this, I've said it at InvestFest, but until the VIX get to 47.32 or 65.22, we haven't even hit the bumpy part of the roller coaster. That's long term when I'm most excited to buy. That 45 and 62, if we get there, that's are the signals when it's blood in the street buy everything you can. And notice when the VIX is that high, no one's talking because everyone is buying. Write those levels down, set them on your charts, execute at a high level, and you too can have waggle. I'm gonna tie you all up in these comments. There ain't no word salad. He telling you exactly what to do. So am I. Listen, if I made you money, please put yes in chat. It's a buffet if you listen the first time. Respectfully and with love.
Offset was shot in Miami here, apparently.
Who?
Offset?
No way.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, in a casino in Miami. But they said that he's okay.
Damn.
Prayers up to that, brother.
Prayers to Offset.
Damn.
That's tough.
There's a lot going on these days.
It's a lot going on, bro. And also, too, for those of you who get into it, now's not the time to be mixy with everybody because everybody's not in a fortunate situation like you. Be careful. Move accordingly.
Out the way.
Yeah.
Way out the way.
Jamie Dimon issued a warning. We talked about it briefly earlier, but
What is the market missing? I'll keep this as brief as possible. I kind of brought up the idea of stagflation, and there's some characteristics that usually happen in a scenario like that. And the picture is kind of getting painted, and hopefully it doesn't. We don't want to see that because that means that there is no growth. Is there a supply chain shock? And if we look at the current conditions, yeah, right. Energy prices have spiked. That's going to cause it to be increased throughout the globe, and that potentially could cause inflation to rise, right? So supply chain shock is the first thing. Tightened money. We haven't seen that just yet, meaning like the banks saying that they're going to raise rates to fight the inflation. That hasn't happened yet. If that does happen, then you have the economy slowing further, right? So we got supply chain shock, tightened money, hasn't happened yet, but we got to be careful and hopefully that it doesn't. And the last piece is structural issues, meaning that is there a labor shortage? Now, we've been playing with this jobs thing, right? We keep saying that there's more jobs.
I'm telling you.
People aren't finding jobs. It's like nobody's being fired, but no people are being hired. If that is the case, then again, that promotes that there's not really growth, and we can't see that. And then the final piece of that structural issue is, will there be supply chain issues? Now, we just spoke about if the Strait doesn't open, the type of supply chain issues that can happen. If those persist, stagflation becomes a real thing. And the market is not saying it, and I'm happy that it's not saying it, but I just want to make people aware of if those conditions persist, that's where we're headed. Hopefully not.
What are we missing? Going back to what you said at the top of the show, and we've been talking about it all year, transparency. We have very little transparency in what's going on in business. I mean, there's one person who's being transparent. Kudos to the CFO of OpenAI, said that they don't really love the way that Sam is spending money at OpenAI pre-IPO. That's telling. But just from a leadership standpoint in the country and in what's happening in the businesses, some of you are shocked when I say the thing about how you getting a return on investment for $1.2 trillion in spend, because everyone is hiding it. The private credit market issue has been a great concern of mine. We're lacking transparency. And a lot of times what people won't say, there's a lot of money in chaos, in war, but there's a lot of money also in financial chaos amongst those who are able to trade the assets. There's not a CEO, but there's a way to short that private credit market bubble. You need $65 million to be able to play that game though. So if you don't have the transparency, that's why there's so much unrest in the market. But the thing that I know about these markets though, over time, all the bad players get wiped out, get moved, and great players emerge. So you don't have to worry about anything long-term. The ones that I love and advocate for are fine. Microsoft, Apple, Visa, NVIDIA, AMD, all like that class, Google, fine. But the C players, I would be very worried about for sure.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Is the AI trade a ticking time bomb?
Listen, we're gonna talk like it's just us.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. And I'm the one who was brought in NVIDIA, AMD pair trade, right? Most of the companies, if they're not in the top 10, they're going to be rendered or restructured as almost useless in 5 or 6 years. The valuations of a lot of companies are not like, okay, Figma, great company. I remember when everyone was calling it the killer of that space, and now they got written down and they're negative 50%. I think there was a lot of hype because in order for a company to go public, you need the right sector, you need right timing, you need a narrative. Too many companies rode on NVIDIA's narrative, like Supermicro, that all of these companies were weighted equally because they were in the same sector, and it's not true. And guess what? It happens all the time. It happens all the time in tech. A lot of the crypto projects that went belly up, and when venture capital was providing funding there, they also helped write the narrative. So do I think it's a ticking time bomb? It's one of the bombs that I think will lead to some reverberation in 2027. Not the only one, but I think it's probably one of the most egregious ones. And also, it's true because we're having some issues with some of these data centers, and they're not being constructed as quickly as they once were, and spending has been cut. So the entire AI space is in trouble. The quality ones, no, but the C and D players, for sure.
I'll say this. I'll say no, and I don't know if that shouldn't come as a surprise. I'll say no, but I'll put an asterisk next to the no, and it's because it's if. So if rates remain high or if they become higher, yes, that's a ticking time bomb because valuations will compress. We know when we see higher rates, tech is the first thing to get hit because people are looking for extreme growth. If they have to spend more money to actually create the products, if they have to spend more money on development and research, that's going to all affect the margins. But in what we've seen over the past 2 years, maybe 3 years now, if these conditions stay, meaning that revenue growth stays explosive, and when I'm talking explosive, I'm talking like how NVIDIA has reported over the past 4 quarters, how Micron has just reported with making more money in a quarter than they've ever made in a year. With all these companies, Broadcom, Google, which I think is still undervalued, Microsoft still undervalued. If they're still showing growth, then it doesn't become a ticking bomb for me, right? Because then the margins expand, and then demand has to stay at the rate that it's at. Now, eventually, will demand pair off? Well, you would assume that would happen, right? Because eventually you'll be able to meet the demand, and then that will lead to some type of balancing. But present day, I say no, it's not a ticket bomb, but it has to have the asterisk if rates stay the same. If they go higher, yes, it is.
We're making the same argument though for the exceptional ones.
Yeah, that's why I had to put the little asterisk.
Got you.
Yeah.
But just for everyone, $2.5 trillion in 2026 is allocated for AI, up 1.5 trillion from 2025. That's 44% year-over growth. We all know the exceptional ones would do well. What about the Oracles, Supermicro, that class and below?
See, the Oracle thing is interesting because that's a did they overextend? Did they over leverage? Are they still making money? Yeah. Did they over leverage? We're gonna see, right? Like we're seeing it now, obviously with their debt default swaps. But there are companies inside of that AI space that have done well, right? They keep putting Vertiv in, and Vertiv is a prime example.
Vertiv for sure, yeah.
GV is a prime example. You wouldn't put Vertiv in your A list, but is it a remnant of the AI expenditure story? Absolutely, right? That doesn't become what it is without having AI as a story. GEV doesn't become the energy company that is without AI having a story. Caterpillar, for a company that
but I would argue those are already quality companies prior to the.
But their growth story has changed since AI.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the IPOs that are coming out, like Shield, of course, OpenAI, Databricks, Polymarket, who else? Lovable.
We haven't even said Anthropic. We just
Anthropic, Lambda,
yeah,
Harvey. Like I think the AI 2.0 companies are going to be better quality. But I think there's a lot of subpar companies that try to repackage as AI adjacent that are going to get scrambled, and then we're going to see a wave of IPOs 27 and 28 to offset it.
We skipped over Anthropic, but Anthropic is just like what Claude is doing, like Claude Code, and game changer.
Yeah,
game changer.
And they
OpenAI
doubled their
is
revenue.
so great. Say it again.
And they doubled their revenue in a year.
Yeah. Another Dara.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Will we see a market rally or false hope headed into the springtime?
I don't think we're setting up for a rally. April is traditionally a good month. I think we'll hit some stumbling blocks, maybe July and August, but I think once we get some sort of settlement on this Iran issue, we'll be fine. We'll be off to the races. But some of these companies are at such a deep discount, like Microsoft. Some of them are too attractive to not buy. Like some are sitting underneath their 200-day. Some are above their 400 moving average. I think just from a price standpoint and just knowing what the returns could be, just getting back to previous all-time highs, you're looking at 35% return, 40, 50% return just on the equity side. I think we're setting up for a rally.
Yeah, I would refer to that S&P 200-day moving average. That should tell us a story or give us some clarity on a story or where we're headed for the rest of the year. If we get back above that 200, and it looks like we could. I know we're trading negative right now after hours, but if we can get back over, I don't have my chart here. What's the 200-day? It's like 66 something or 67. You have your chart right there?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Yeah, so when we have that number, I would circle that number and just watch. And if we get there and stay there, that would be a good sign that we could be heading to a positive territory for the year.
Yeah, I think as long as we stay above like where we're at now, 66.17, and if we start to see signs of life above like 66.54, we'll be smooth. Last month, just from disparity, like in value perspective, I know for a fact just from the time talking to people, like being down on the exchange and talking to people like who trade at funds, one of the few technical indicators that retail has that they will use is the 200. It was a lot of buying last week. It was a lot. And when I talked to a few people, it was a lot of optimism about returns towards the end of year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're definitely going to hit a rally point.
I think it all depends on Trump, because if the economy is down, then technical analysis doesn't matter. And I feel like hopefully he does the right thing. I think he'll do the right thing. But if he
why? And then not to cut you off, but why do you think he will?
Because he could ruin the world economy if he does it.
Touche.
So
does he care though about ruining the world? I know he cares about ours, but do you think he?
Yeah. Well, it depends. If the greater North American strategy is correct, then maybe this is all part of his grand master plan.
You keep hinting at it. You want to talk about it now? Or you want to wait?
The greater North American strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the greater North American strategy is what some people think that this is all part of, because okay, he has captured for all intents and purposes Venezuela. Did you see that he said that he's going to learn Spanish and run for president of Venezuela?
I just saw that before I came in. He's like, after this, I'm gonna go to Venezuela. I was like, bro, what?
So he pretty much he has control over Venezuela. They could do whatever they want. Their oil is theirs. The Panama Canal, we've already talked about that. That's another very important passageway, and he's already talked about that. He's talked about taking Greenland. He's talked about Canada, putting pressure on them to try to get them to come under the flag. Mexico as well. So the greater North American strategy is to say, like, everybody now is certifying their region. And that's why Russia really wanted Ukraine, because of the natural resources. And it's like, okay, we really can't stop Russia and Ukraine. At some point, China's going to take Taiwan. So in a world where there is no more globalism per se, if you can control just North America and greater North America, which would be like Venezuela, if you could control from Greenland down to Venezuela, that would be enough to be self-sufficient. And that would be enough to not have to worry about anything else that's happening in the Middle East and like that. And then you actually become a dominant player on the world as far as the energy people have to buy from you. And so some people think that he's collapsing the global economy as we know it to create a new global economy, to create a new alliance that we've never seen before as far as what they call Greater North America, stretching from Venezuela all the way up to Greenland. That's a theory.
That's his plan. It's a theory, though.
That's a theory.
Yeah. I got the poly market odds of a deal happening on tomorrow.
What Barron say?
2%.
I don't think a deal's gonna happen, but I think they're gonna push it down the road.
Yeah, Trump announces. So the prompt is Trump announces end of military operations against Iran by. So they have April 7th, April 15th, April 30th, May 31st, June 30th. June 30th has the highest probability at 72%. May 31st at 60%. April 30th, 34%. The 15th, 14%, and the 7th, 2%.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
because I mean,
he'll definitely say uncle by summertime.
Yo, say uncle is so crazy. He just won't say uncle.
You gonna play chicken long enough? If gas gets to $6, his approval ratings is at the lowest place it's ever been, even amongst his base.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Maybe Greater North America, because everybody's already playing their greater strategy. We talked about Russia taking back Soviet Union territory. We know China has a plan in place. Greater Israel, the Greater Israel Project has been something that has been talked about. So Greater North America. Somebody said, "What's wrong with that?" Well, the only thing wrong with that is that you're taking sovereign countries under your flag. That
one stipulation.
It doesn't historically work out, but it's also, I mean, every empire throughout history has expanded their borders. There hasn't been one prominent empire in world history that has not expanded their borders. So it's not, it might sound like a far reach, but I mean, empires traditionally expand their borders by conquering other lands.
And so will BRICS. BRICS will speed up faster than ever. You think Pat Riley put that super team together in Miami back in the day? You pull this G&A move, boy, it's going to be one nation.
20v1.
For sure. For every offensive strategy has a counter to it, and I don't know if he's planning these properly.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. We'll see you on Blackout, 9 o'clock on Wednesday. We got Kendra G joining us. We got the brother Sean on Thursday at 12 o'clock. Get your tickets to InvestFest, investfest.com. Friday, this Friday is the last day to enter the pitch competition. This Friday is the last day to enter the pitch competition for InvestFest. All you need is a ticket and then fill out the application online. But Friday, April 10th is the last day for the pitch competition, $125,000. Last year, 2 people won $250,000. So
what kind of business do you think could win? Let's give them an edge. If they apply tonight, what kind of business should they be trying to create? I know tech related, but what do you think would give them a easy chance of winning and capturing the money?
Something that's scalable. So, for instance, if somebody comes out with what's not scalable, right? What traditionally would not be scalable? Something that is very limited in the reach and only affects a very small amount of the population. What would be scalable is something that affects a large, and it's don't even things that you don't even think about. We interviewed the Squire. These guys got $1 billion valuation from, and then even the Cut. I saw my son was using the Cut app. Little things like that. Like, people been going to barbershop for years. Who really would have thought that you could revolutionize barbershops by actually making it where you could just book a barber online and not have to worry about waiting 3 hours on a Sunday.
Makes that easier.
Yeah.
So scalable models, something that's scalable, that can reach a lot of people, that can affect a lot of people in a relatively quick manner. It doesn't have to be something that's like neuroscience related. Like I said, it could be something just as simple as a barbershop app, but that's scalable because there's millions of barbershops and everybody needs to get their hair cut. So think when you're thinking of your business to submit, that's something that I would think about.
Yeah, I would add to that. And scalability is important, especially in the age of AI. And obviously we said tech feature, but if you can create something that makes things more efficient and more convenient, those are the two things that people want: convenience and efficiency. So cut is a prime example of that, right? Like, we know the barbershop experience. How do we make it more convenient, and how do we make this more efficient? We'll create something that we can schedule and we can come in and be on point, and it helps everybody out. So if you have a business, think about that. Can it scale? Does it make life more convenient, and does it make somebody's life more efficient? Those are the type of businesses that are going to thrive. And you have AI as a tool that can help you along with that process. So I would definitely recommend that.
And use AI to write the application too. Some of y'all
write the code for you, do everything.
Everything. The systems have a full running business when you get the picture.
That's a fact. And all you entrepreneurs, you got to get a booth at InvestFest if you're really trying to reach 20,000 people over the course of the week and every day. Like, I feel like business is only going to get harder. It's getting harder and harder and harder out here for entrepreneurs, but it's not any easier for employees. So it's not like if you quit your business, you're just going to go back to making $100,000 in a 9-to-5 job. That's not.
They're not hiring. Yeah.
So get your vendor booth. That's important. All right.
And use Claude to build your plan to have the best interactive experience, to have a good customer acquisition strategy, and not just standing. Because that's a part of it too. You have to plan. Like, when I'm like, okay, I'm on stage, man, I'll plan that shit out for 6 months. Some people say it's excessive. It's like, the results are there. Like, the people who dominate even in the booth space, they've planned out how they're going to engage to get people to come there. So use Claude for all of that. Start planning that now. Don't wait till 2 weeks before and figure out how you're going to get people to go to your booth.
Claude code, Claude presentation, everything. It's there for you.
That's a fact. All right, y'all. Think real.
Love is love.
See you Wednesday. Peace.
And we're going to do